Welcome back to Let's Make a Game, a channel about making computer role-playing games using the free program Twine and the Sugarcube format for Twine. In this video, I would like to continue talking about my current project of trying to improve Beneath an Emerald Sky, the game that I made during the 30-day challenge. The main thing that I would like to talk about in this video is the fact that I have extended the story. This has been available for download for a few days, but I haven't had a chance to talk about it until now. So I've started a game and I've gotten to the point where, before making this change, the player would have won. And I'm not going to take you through the new bit too much because it's quite short, and if I was to take you through all of it, it would spoil a considerable amount of it. So I'll just show you how it begins. Your true love recognises your voice as that of the lowly servant who bravely corrected the royal astronomer. They declare that, since that moment, they have loved you with equal fervour. Your love makes their way to the roof of the palace, and the two of you embrace beneath two moons. That would have been the end of the game. There would have been a little paragraph about how you get married and fly off on a Thun to go on your honeymoon. But now, there's a new bit. But your travails on this cruel planet are not over. Alas, if I were to wed a stranger merely for a moving tale, our wedding night would be but a precursor to our funeral. You must show the city that you have as much heroism as anyone of ancient lineage. Then you press continue. And she tells you, perhaps you do not know that, cut off from other cities by dense jungles and great mountains, we have tamed the great flying Thuns and oft travel on their backs. But in the mountains there is a race of air pirates who do likewise, whom we cannot seem to destroy. They prey on all who pass by, robbing passengers of their wealth and trade caravans of their goods, and even falling upon farmsteads to steal their food. Defeat them, and none will dare dispute our love. And then you have a choice of 4 things that you can do. Interview a farmer who's been their victim, interview someone living in the foothills of the mountains, fly out with soldiers disguised as a merchant expedition, hoping they will attack, lead an expedition into the mountains looking for their hideouts. I won't click any of those because, as I said, that would spoil it. And so there's an extra bit, basically. This is not the end of my ideas, by any means. I have several new things that I want to do to extend the plot of the game, although they probably won't be added on to the end. There'll probably be extra things that happen along the way, and I'd like to spend a little bit of time talking about them. Some of them I've mentioned before, but others of them are new. In the beginning of the game, there's a description of the world. If you end up living with these ape-like creatures, they tell you that there are basically 3 types of people in the world. There's themselves, there's another group who are humans, and there's a third group who are insect-like. And it is possible that you very briefly encounter the insect-like group, but I was planning to have a lot more happening with them. And so I do have a plan of being able to visit their society rather than just interact with a single one of them, which is all that can happen in the game at the moment. And that can happen either from the jungle or from the city. I was thinking that perhaps there are some of the insect-like creatures living in sort of catacombs under the city. Although I was also thinking of making the people in the underworld a 4th group, a separate group. This is a real trope of Sword and Planet. I've mentioned before that I'm trying to include as many sort of common tropes of this subgenre of science fiction in the story as I can. And a really common trope is that the hero thinks they know all of the people in the world, and then in a new story they discover this out-of-the-way, lost group of people who hide from the general society, and that's why he didn't know them before. It's, of course, partly a consequence of writing a series. You want to have new things, and having a new group of people is one way to do that, but then that raises the question of, well, how come nobody knew about this? We already had a map of the planet. Why isn't there any mention of these people? Well, the answer is because they're hidden. Often there was some disaster, or they used to be a lot more prominent or something like that, and then they decided for their own safety to sort of hide away from the general society. And I thought there could be a subterranean group that is like that. And perhaps that will be the next thing that I bring in, or perhaps it will be the insect-like group. But it looks like I've run out of time now, so I will leave it there for now. I hope that was useful or interesting to at least some of you, and I hope you will tune in next time.